What's up guys, DuArktik here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we are going to talk about our boy Ultron. Is Ultron a character that you should start building right now for the Masters of Evil? Is a character that you should start building right now for Cosmic Crucible? And if so, if you should start building him, what kind of isolate you are going to use? What is the goals that you should have for this character? So we're going to talk about all of that in this video, and as always, if you like the information on this video, make sure to share it to your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and make sure you smash that like button. Okay, let's get started. Let's talk about Ultron. So Ultron was obtained, or is obtained, by completing Dark Dimension 2, and that's very interesting because that means that maybe in the future the rewards for Dark Dimension 3, 4 and 5, which means Ultimus, Doctor Doom and Dormammu, maybe they will also be part of other teams. And if you're having Ultron this year on 2023, maybe next year we'll have Ultimus rework, and maybe after we'll have Doctor Doom rework, and then Dormammu rework, some kind of that. So it's looking interesting. And all these characters, you can obtain the yellow stars through Dark Dimension or other means, but the red stars you have to obtain through Dark Promotion credits. And this is something that we need to have in notice right now, is that you cannot obtain red stars for Ultron. The developer said they will be available in the future through some event, but we don't know what kind of event. And if it's an event similar to the one we had for Dormammu, then it kind of sucks, and that's why we should be very careful with the investments we are going to do on Ultron. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the blog posts we have recently with the changes for Ultron. So Ultron, in this patch on 6.6, he got a rework to the stats and also to some of the abilities, but now we have an announcement of more abilities coming to Ultron. So let's take a look at those abilities. He's going to be part of the Masters of Evil, and it will be on the patch 6.7, and even some of the minions will have their abilities changed. Okay, so on the basic attack, Ultron still does normal damage to a single target and copy 2 positive effects and clears 2 positive effects, excluding taunt, and clear taunt from the primary target. So this is convenient because you can remove taunt from specific characters, and you can do that with the isolate attack. But is this still something that is worth it? Because this primary damage here, it's normal damage, and we'll see in a second that Ultron doesn't have like the highest base damage ever. So we could consider to change Ultron's isolate from Striker to Raider. We would lose the ability of removing taunts from the enemies, but we would get way more massive damage with the Raider isolate, since the Striker isolate does not do piercing damage. Okay, so this is another thing to have in mind. So that's the new basic. That's new basic, and to be honest, not many changes were made. It's just clearing out exactly what ability does. Then we have the special, and the special is a completely new ability. As you guys can see, there were huge changes. In the past, it only summoned minions. Now, not only you are summoning minions, in Cosmic Crucible, those minions are going to get speed bar, which will allow your Ultron to go a lot faster. Then you are also going to attack the primary target for normal damage, which is not great. Then we have gain assist from Ultron minions. That means all the minions are going to use their different abilities. The green is going to give energy to Ultron, the red one of them is going to turn rewind the enemies, and the other one is going to copy positive effects from the enemies to Ultron. This attack is unavoidable and cannot be blocked, which is great. And that's it. So this is going to be a combination between Red Skull Special and Red Skull Ultimate, which is quite amazing, and gives Ultron more damage output and also more viability, because there were a few times where you have no reason to use the special. If you already have all the minions on the field, there is no reason to use the special, and now they are giving you a reason to use the special, which is great. Okay, now we have the Ultimate. And the Ultimate had little changes. So in Cosmic Crucible, if this character has 3 or more Masters of Evil allies, clears all death proof from the primary target. it does still piercing damage, it gains still 1 energy per positive effect. This attack ignores defense up, and he already ignored a defense up before, but he's just clearing out the exact effect. Enemies killed by this attack cannot be revived, which is great. And in Cosmic Crucible, the attack is unavoidable and cannot be blocked. This is a big problem that Ultron had in the past, because even that attack bypassed the defense up, it could still be blocked by characters like Captain Sam and other big tanks like that, and it was very inconvenient. But that's no longer the case in Cosmic Crucible only. And then we have the passive for Ultron. If this character has 4 or more Master of Evil allies, gain 30% crit damage. So it's going to be nice to have a crit damage or additional crit damage and crit chance on Ultron. And this is another reason why we're discussing if we should change the ISO weight for Ultron as well. Then we have on spawn gain 15% speed bar. This amount of speed bar will make Ultron a lot faster. It will make Ultron to have around 125 speed. I think it's 123, but that will make him a lot faster than many other characters in the game, like Taskmaster, like Morgan Le Fay, and so on. So he's going to be a lot more faster thanks to this turn meter on spawn. And if you don't know, if you have a character with speed up and if you have a character with the turn meter, the character with turn meter will always go first. This is just the way the game works, because it's turn based, right? The speed up, it has to fill in, the turn meter, it jumps the scale. And then on top of that, gain 50% armor for self and all Masters of Evil in Cosmic Crucible. Ultron Fabricator, this is the green minion. Now it's going to do additional healing to Masters of Evil and Ultron and Self and so on. So as you can see, some big changes to Ultron, a lot more viability to his kit, and a lot more playability. Now the abilities, it's not just a basic and ultimate and so on. Okay, so Ultron is also going to be required for a future legendary character, which we don't know about, but it's probably going to be the next 1.5 year long event. And not only you are going to require Ultron, but all Masters of Evil. So this is going to be probably a future Scourge for Galactus or something like that, where you have to use the Masters of Evil on nodes 5 and 10. So keep this in mind. If you don't like the Scourges, well, they'll probably be coming again. And now, taking a look at Ultron. Let's take a look at Ultron. So this is the kit from the past, but what is important here is to check out his stats. Now, in terms of stats, and this is of course with 700 stars, we don't have, as I mentioned before, we don't have red stars right now for Ultron, and I'm not even sure if you can get him all the way to 700 stars, but it's probably something that will be available in the future. Either way, Ultron, he still has very low HP. He's going to get 50% more HP when he's in Cosmic Crucible, but it's low amount compared to other characters that we have in game right now. Then we have the base damage, and you can see right here that the base damage is quite low. We have different characters with like 80,000 base damage, maybe even 90,000, and that's huge compared to Ultron. That's like 50% less than he has, that he has. And this is another reason why we should try to avoid the normal damage, because the normal damage gets blocked by the armor. So if you have an enemy with 40,000 armor, and if you do 50% damage, that means you are going to do only 10,000 damage. And that's why in specific situations, when you have piercing damage, you should maximize the amount of piercing damage output. And the difference between Raider and Striker is that if you have a Striker with normal damage and if you have a Raider with normal damage, then you should maximize the Raider, because the damage output is going to be bigger and the amount of damage that is going to be blocked by the armor is going to be lower, in correlation, of course. So if you have a character like, for example, Dagger, she does piercing damage on her basic and she does piercing damage on her other abilities, so it doesn't matter if you have her as a Raider or as a Striker. The Striker is going to be better because in both situations you have piercing damage. For Ultron, you have piercing damage on the ultimate, but you do not have piercing damage on the basic. Therefore, you should try to maximize the amount of damage that you do with the ultimate rather than focus on the additional ability that you might get out of the basic. So in my opinion, this is something that we should consider, plus all those additional buffs that he gives now to himself with the future changes, and also with Kang the Conqueror, who also gives 60% more crit damage to Ultron. This, in my opinion, makes Ultron to become a raider, and that is going to make his ultimate way more powerful and not being cock-blocked by the amount of armor the enemies have. Now, in terms of armor for Ultron, 40,000 is quite amazing amount of armor, and this is going to be increased by 50% to 60,000 in Cosmic Crucible, of course. And once again, you can see that the amount of damage that gets blocked by armor right now is very, very high. Then we have the focus. The focus is going to once again lower the value of the isolate attack with Striker, because the amount of focus is quite low, and the team gets additional focus with Moonstone, but it's only 50%. 50% of 14,000, it's not enough for today's standards. It's like going to be 20,000 total, and it's not that great. Then in terms of the resistance, it's 16,000. It's okay. He gives himself defense up, so that's going to be increased by 50%. It's not amazing, but it's pretty decent. Focus is way more important to have higher than resistance, so don't worry about that. And then we have the speed, which is 107, but as I said, on spawn he gets 15% more, and that's going to have speed on effective speed on spawn around 123, which is a lot better. So as you can see, a lot of changes to Ultron kit and the value of Ultron in the game. Ultron was just a character that no one really cared about, because he was a reward from Dark Dimension 2, and that's nice, but his stats were very, very outdated. And the fact that his red stars are behind the dark promotion credits and so on, it compromises his value. Now, together with Titania, is slightly better, and especially together with the minions, Titania is a really good character, and Ultron increases her viability, and she also increases his viability. And these changes that we are going to do to the future of these Masters of Evil team, changing his eyes away to Raider and other things, is going to take Ultron to the next level, and this is something that is going to be important. Okay, so let's take a look at Ultron in action for a little bit and see what kind of changes we are going to expect on the next patch. Okay, so we can, let's speed up Ultron just to make him go faster. There we go. You can see the amount of armor that he has now gives him a lot more survivability, even if he doesn't have like a massive amount of HP compared to other characters in the same meta. Okay, we have Titania there with her ultimate, applying ability block to that Merc LT, and now Ultron is going to do the special. So in the future, this special will not only summon the minions, but it will also give turn meter to the minions that will allow Ultron to go faster, and on top of that we'll also be able to attack the enemies. Okay, so let's summon the normal version. So you can see right here that the minions only spawn with 90% speed bar, and that's why the speed bar from Ultron new special ability is going to be so important. Okay, so now let's get some buffs for Ultron. Here we go. Once again, another Ultron minion special, and now we are going to do the ultimate. So here it will always do the crit, and it will always do massive piercing damage because of the new stats. And now we can do this ability, I guess. Now let's buff the characters once again. And yeah, so when you use the ability of Ultron, the special, if you have all the minions on the field already, then you are going to get all those additional effects. And I want you to see those effects because they are very important. So let's summon the minions once again. Since we have space for that, let's clear that speed up from Magneto. So you can see right here, this guy is going to clear positive effects from that guy and give them to Ultron, I think. Oh no, it goes to resisted. Okay, that's fine. Then this one gives energy to Ultron, and then this one rewinds the bar of the enemies by 30%, which is massive. But we are just going to give him speed up instead. You can choose between giving the speed up or doing the abilities. But yeah, these are huge changes to Ultron that are going to increase his viability. And while he's going to be amazing on Cosmic Crucible, he's also going to be amazing on the other game modes as well. And I hope to see Ultron in the past, like we have seen in Alliance Wars Defense. It was very problematic to deal with that character on Alliance Wars Defense. And now if you try with the symbiotes, yeah, there are a lot of summons, but these summons, like I said, the armor is insane, and the fact that they have defense up and all those other shenanigans is going to make them a lot stronger. So yeah, Ultron looking very good, and can't wait to see his new changes to his kit, because right now, like, the stats are good, you just need to get those additional changes to make him more viable. Okay guys, so that's Ultron for you. Requirement for upcoming legendary character, a reward from Dark Dimension 2, a character that requires Dark Promotion credits in order to get his Red Star on, and a character that had one suggestion of ISO weight in the past, which was Striker, and now it has a different ISO weight suggestion because of his changes, not only to his team, but also to his kits and to his stats. So is this a character that you should start working right now, you should desperately start working on? I would say no, and the biggest reason why I would say no, it's not even because we don't have the full team available yet, it's because we have no information on what's the future of Red Stars for this character. And even more important than that, are those Red Stars going to affect Ultron in a big way, or the Masters of Evil on their own, with the insane stats that they have and with their insane kit in Cosmic Crucible, are going to be good enough to work without Ultron having massive amounts of gear and massive amounts of Red Stars? That's why I think you should hold back on gearing up this guy a little bit, and if you want to take him like to level 80 orange gear, I think that's fine. But if you take him anywhere beyond orange gear to like level 85 teal gear and so on, I think that's an investment that you should not do, because we don't know anything about what's going to be about his Red Stars. And if his Red Stars are like super easy to obtain, maybe you can save your gear and save it for a character like Kang the Conqueror or any other tech character that will be coming in the future, because the uniques for Ultron are quite hard to get. There are many characters that require these centerpiece uniques, and then on top of that he also requires 5 sets of mini uniques. These are the pieces that you need around Ultron, these ones right here, and we don't know if any other character is going to be requiring that gear. And if you have Ultron with 7 yellow stars, and if you have Kang with like 3 or 4 yellow stars, then it's better for you to invest in Kang than it is for you to invest on Ultron. That's why I'm telling you to be careful with how much you invest in this guy right now. And if you invested him in the past, congratulations, because now you have amazing robots to play with. So yeah guys, that's gonna be the video. I hope you guys enjoy it. All the information that you need to know for Ultron, if you should change his ISO weight or not, if you should gear him up or not. If you already geared him up, let me know in the comments below how big is your Ultron, what kind of base damage he has, because I have no idea. And if you found information on this video helpful, make sure you share it to your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and I will catch you guys later.